Guys, you see my screen?
Yes, we can see. Yes.
Super. Okay. So
I can
let's
see.
do this, okay? I mean, please be on hold if you're not speaking so that we can avoid that, background noise. And if you have any questions, unmute and shoot. Okay? Thank you. So coming to the introduction of storage. So, what is storage? I mean, we hear this term a lot within our, daily life as well, right? So what is storage? Storage is nothing but data, and data can be stored in many ways. I mean, the way you store data also depends, right? I mean, there are so many things which actually drive where you store your data and how you store your data, right? So assume you want to listen to music, you might store your mp3 file within your phone or an ipod. You want to share a file with someone who is kilometers away from you, you might use email, right? And if the file is too big, you might use some file sharing site like Google Drive or Dropbox, right? And if you want to share some movie or something with a colleague next to you, you might use a pen drive. So storage and what storage device you actually use to store data really depends upon your requirement. What is your requirement? Correct? So that really drives what is storage and how do you want to store data within different devices. Okay. And coming to the history and growth of storage, I mean, storage was there earlier, storage is there now. What has really changed is the growth, the amount of data, right? That is really making a difference within our, the whole world. Storage is now being seen as, one of the top most IT services, right? Let me pose a question to you. Assume that you had a Rediff mail or a Gmail account since 7 years, okay? And 7 years back, you sent some file to one of your friend, okay? Today, if you want, you still would like to retrieve that file, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, right. I mean, that's how customers' requirements are changing because customers want their data to be there always. Even if it is 7 years old, 8 years old, customers' requirement is that yes, there should be data. Even if it is 7 years old, I should be able to retrieve my data back, right? So, I mean, Gmail and Rediff Mail, it's not just you, me, or Mohammed or and Bhaskar. No, there are millions of people who use Rediff Mail, right? So all those growth has to be handled. All those, that amount of data has to be handled. So that is really adding up to the growth of storage. And not just that, take an example of a financial institution or a banking institution. They might store your, that whole transaction data, which is 10 years old, 20 years old. They still store it, right? Why? Because of audit requirements, compliance issues, they still store it. uh, Facebook, Twitter, I mean, all that is again adding up to the growth of storage. So this is all adding up to the growth of storage. And since storage is growing, the demand for it is growing. People are started realizing that if they store data, customer requirements are fulfilled. If customers are happy, organizations are happy, right? And not just that, if even small and medium scale industries or organizations, they're trying to store their data somewhere so that they can do some analytics. Let's take example of a Flipkart site, right? Flipkart site, what they do is they store all the data which you're navigating through. So let's say you most of the time within the site, if you're spending on shoes, a product called shoes, right? When next time you come in, you will get more details about shoes within your page. That how is that happening? Because they're storing the data which you are navigating through and doing some analytics on it and providing you the data which you want more. So this is how the growth of storage is increasing. This is why growth of storage is happening. Okay. And coming to the requirements of storage infrastructure, so I mean, whenever we think of storage, we always think of capacity. We say, okay, 2 terabyte capacity, 1 terabyte capacity, 500 GB. So whenever we speak of storage, we speak about capacity. I mean, capacity is yes, the heart of why we need storage, the reason for why we need storage. But capacity is not the only requirement. There are other requirements apart from capacity. Okay. But people don't realize this. People realize that storage is always capacity. We're speaking only in terms of capacity. No. Absolutely wrong. Let me prove how it is wrong. Data protection. So, I mean, every storage infrastructure needs data protection. Let it be at the enterprise level, let it be at a user level. Okay. The reason being data protection. Okay, let's take another example. You guys assume that you have a very important spreadsheet, okay, which is within your laptop right now. And to protect it, to protect that spreadsheet, what you might do is you might upload it to some file sharing site, right? You might upload it to some file sharing site. Why do you do that? Assuming something happens to your laptop, okay, I mean, the hard disk get crashes or it got damaged, I mean, the whole data got corrupted. How will you retrieve back your spreadsheet, which is very, very important to you? No worries, you still have it in your file sharing site, right? Like a Google Drive or a Dropbox. So that is how you protect your data. That is how a domestic user like us, individual user like us protect data. Similarly, when you go to the enterprise level, they will have more levels of protections. Now we discuss about only one level of protection. They might have, more levels of protections. So data protection is definitely a must. And every organization does it. They will try to, make many duplicate copies of a single source copy. They will have, multiple copies of a single source copy. Okay. So that is data protection. And coming to performance.
Mahesh, Tanvir here.
Yes, Tanvir.
See, what kind of data protection acts that we follow in storage? Because I think if you follow the Data Protection Act, so there would be some lots and lots of security over here, right?
Correct. Okay, so the data protection techniques could be, one is backup to tape. Sorry, what was that, Tanvir?
Follow any type of techniques or techniques to make the data protected?
Yes, I'm explaining that. Okay, so one could be, tape backup. What we basically do is we back up all the data every day within your whole data center to a tape. Okay, so tape is like similar to a CD. You write it once and you cannot change the content. So we'll back up to tape. That is one level of protection. Second can be, replication. You will create a duplicate copy. Let's assume you have a E drive within a Windows server. Okay, you will create another E drive of it. That is replication. Okay, and then there is something called RAID protection, which protects you from a disk failure, because I mean all these are, devices, right? They can fail anytime. Even if your devices fail, you still should be able to have your data online. So you have something called RAID, which helps you in doing that. And there are many more. There is remote replication, there is checkpointing, there is snapshotting, there is clone copy. I mean, there's so many other technologies which you can use to protect your data. Does it answer your question?
I think these all are type of backups. Yeah.
Sorry?
Right. My area, Mohammed here.
Yes, Tanvir.
See, as you said that these all the replication, tape backups and everything, I think these are the type of backups, I think, right?
No, tape backup is backup, replication is replication, and RAID is, RAID protection from a disk failure.
I think replication, what does it do? When the data is entered in that file, the same file is replicated on
Exactly.
file, right?
Exactly. You are correct. You
That's
are
the name
correct.
of the replication, but it's like a backup.
I wouldn't call it as a backup, because there is definitely a difference between a backup and replication, which you will understand, once we get into the course. I'll explain you the difference. Many people do get confused between what is replication and what is backup.
So, do we have some type of firewall interruption interactions between these securities?
Yes, I mean, if you go outside your data center, yes, you will have your, secure VPN tunnels, or your secure, all those, protection techniques do apply. I mean, it is up to your network. Your network should be secured. Yes, absolutely. Because your data is going out, right? If you're replicating from, Hyderabad to Delhi, your data is going out. I mean, anyone can snipe to your data. So that definitely has to be protected. But that is taken care by network team. As a SAN engineer or a SAN admin, you don't care. Okay. Does that help?
Yes,
Tanvir?
yes, Mahesh, yes.
Okay. Super.
Yes,
And next is, okay. And next is performance. So performance is also a key requirement for storage infrastructure. I'll again give an example there. Now currently we are running this GoToMeeting link application on our laptops, right? So a question for you guys. Does this GoToMeeting link application, does it have to interact too much with your hard disk? I mean, does it have to do a lot of reads and writes to and from your hard disk? Yes or no?
No.
Not
No.
really, right? There isn't too much for reading and writing with to and from your hard disk, because only probably when you type some chat into it, then some write might happen into your hard disk. Correct? So in this case, your GoToMeeting link is not dependent on the performance of your hard disk, because it is not really interacting with it at all. I mean, it doesn't care, right? Yes.
Ranveer here, your
Yes,
voice
Tanvi.
is getting, you have starting in your voice here, in your line.
Oh, is it?
I cannot hear you properly now.
Now?
No.
Now you can't hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you now properly, yes.
Okay, good. So performance, yes, as I said, GoToMeeting link application doesn't really, interact too much with your hard disk, so you don't really care. I mean, performance of your hard disk is not really important for your GoToMeeting link application, and it'll run smooth, irrespective of your hard disk performance. But compare this with a Maya 3D application. Okay, basically a Maya 3D application is like an animation application. The setup file itself is 10 GB, and if you install that on your laptop, it will the whole DLL files, all those libraries will come up to 15 GB or so. When you're running that application on your PC and navigating through that whole application console, it always has to speak to the hard disk, because all the data of that application is on that hard disk. So whenever you're navigating through the console of that application, it every time reads and writes data to and fro from your hard disk. Then you definitely need performance from your hard disk. If your hard disk is not giving the right performance to your application, right, then your application gets freezes. So what I'm trying to conclude here is your storage infrastructure requirements, performance also plays a key role.
It's getting,
Sorry?
your voice is getting skipped.
Voice is getting skipped, is it? Okay. I mean, now are you able to hear me clear?
I can hear you.
Okay. So that is about performance. And that's like that, you have many other things which are, governing that requirement for infrastructure, but we'll be discussing all of them within our actual class, not now. Coming to the opportunities, yes, as I mentioned, a lot of opportunities, growth. So people are trying to, get into storage because a lot of demand, right? So all small and medium organizations, they also started realizing the importance of storage. They are building their own, storage infrastructure within the data center. So all that is adding up to the opportunities. Okay. Storage management and administration. So this is where our major concentration would be. We'll try to understand, what is storage how does storage management happens, what are the job roles of a storage admin, what does he do regularly, and most related to storage administration and management related activities. But yes, I can definitely shed some light on how does the whole architectural, thinking or architectural stuff within building the storage arrays or configuring this when they, arrive first time in your data center when you buy them, or before that whole planning which goes on before you actually place an order for a storage array. How does that planning go? I mean, has to be taken care of. All that I can definitely shed some light, because I work real time on them. So any questions on this slide?
As of now, no.
Okay,
As
so
of now,
I'm gonna go to the second slide. Good. So storage technologies, we have three types. Okay, DAS, NAS, and SAN. We'll discuss about each of these, and we'll try to compare and contrast between each of these again. Coming to the first technology, DAS. DAS stands for direct attached storage. The name itself says, storage is directly attached. Attached to what? To your server, right? I mean, server is the place where your application runs, correct? So if your storage is directly attached to your server, then you call it as direct attached storage. Simple. Within DAS, again you have two types, internal direct connect and external direct connect. If you look at the internal direct connect connection, right, this is the typical old PC style of connection, right? I mean, you have your server, you have your hard disks, and hard disks are within your server or PC. This is the typical old kind of connection is what we see towards your left. Okay, this is the internal direct connect. Similar way, External direct connect, the only thing which is really different between internal and external is here you have a separate special device called storage array. So this is where our major concentration would be. Guys, please concentrate here. So this is a storage array, and a storage array has lot of disks. Storage array is nothing but hundreds of disks combined together into a single device is called as storage array. No big max, science, nothing. Storage array is nothing but number of disks combined together into a single device. Okay. Now your server is not having internal disks. It is getting storage from the storage array, and it is communicating with the storage array via one path. Okay.
One question, Mahesh.
Yes.
See, as you said that this external disk will be attached to an device where the server is getting, where the server will get what you said, interact with those devices and get the data, right?
Absolutely correct.
In external direct connect.
Spot on. Yes.
I cannot see.
No, you're right. Is what I'm saying.
So what? So how does the device, how that the server or device understand that the device is connected as a hard disk? Is there any?
Yeah,
the hard disk
they have their own protocols which they use. Okay, and it depends upon what type of protocol which you are using. I mean, think of this as a TCP/IP protocol. Like if you have two nodes or two PCs, if they are connected via LAN, they can speak to each other, right, via TCP/IP protocol. Similarly, storage has its own set of protocols via which they can speak to each other. A server can speak to the storage array.
Okay. Yeah, but how are they connected? Is they connected via LAN or there is some cable some other data cable?
I'm getting there. So this one which you see here, DAS, is this orange color cable. Whenever you see this orange color cable within our whole course, this is a fiber channel cable. A fiber channel or an optical fiber cable is what we call this. Okay. So you can use fiber channel, you can use copper, you can use your LAN. Everything is possible via DAS. So, and everything has its own pros and cons. I mean, we'll discuss about all of this a lot in more depth when we actually get into the, I think this is covered in module 1, yes. All different kinds of protocols.
Okay.
Okay. So, if you look here, server is connected to your storage array and your server is getting the data right now from the storage array. So, whenever you create C drive, E drive, D drive for your server, all of that drives are actually sitting in the storage array. It seems as if those drives are within the server, but ultimately those drives are sitting on the storage array. So whatever read write you do, that interaction will happen, to and forth from the storage array to the server. Okay, and from now, whenever I speak of DAS, you should remember this external direct connect picture. This is the architecture which should come to your mind whenever I speak of DAS. Internal direct connect, you can neglect it. Okay, so that's about DAS. This is the architecture of DAS. Any questions on this?
No, that's it. I've posted my questions to you.
Okay. Super. So this is the architecture of DAS. Yes, Navin, I see that. Karthik, you there? Not yet joined. No worries, I will continue. Okay, so this is the architecture of DAS. Okay, now coming to the benefits of DAS. Okay, so the benefits of DAS is it is really useful for local data provisioning. Local data provisioning. So what is local data provisioning? If the servers and storage are close to each other, then you call it as local data provisioning. So a server and storage should be as close to each other. I mean, what benefit do you get? Common sense, right? If your server and storage is close to each other, the data which has to travel between them is lesser, right? I mean, the length is lesser. Obviously, a server can, read and write much faster. So, DAS environment is typically used in local data provisioning where a server and storage is, as close as possible. I mean, we definitely know that they cannot be, beside each other because all that in the data center you have to, populate all these servers in different locations, and you can't just scribble them on the floor wherever you want. They all have to be organized in uh, dedicated locations. So definitely there would be space, but you have to ensure that that space is lesser the better. Okay.
Oh, nice. And one question from my side is,
Mm-hmm.
if we use DAS, what would be the accurate data that we can get? Is there any possible of data loss here when we travel, when that data is getting traveled
Fiber
from
channel.
other technology?
Yeah, FCP
Yes.
fiber channel protocol is very 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 good in taking that or handling that data loss is what we call it. It has so many other protocols, like it uses CRC.
Hear me. Oh, here, yes.
Karthik, can you hear us?
Yeah, yes.
Hey Karthik, we just started off, okay? I mean, we were just
Yeah.
speaking about this DAS technology, so you can pick up.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, continue.
So yes, Sanveer, there are these protection techniques like CRC, which have that data integrity, or to check the data integrity, we use the CRC techniques. Okay, all that is integrated within the fiber channel protocol. Sorry, Tanvir, what was that? Yes, Tanvir. Okay. And this is simple to deploy. DAS is really simple to deploy because, I mean, what are you doing? You're just connecting a server. You have your server, buying a storage array, plugging a cable between these two. Done. It is as simple as it is. I mean, okay, speaking in real terms, it is not as simple, but when you compare this with other technologies, it is definitely simple. I mean, you always have to, compare with something else, like a reference. So if you compare this with other NAS and SAN technologies, DAS is much simpler because you just have to buy a storage array, plug a cable between your server and storage, and you're done. So this is simple to deploy. Okay. And one other benefit is low capital expense. So it is less capital expense when you compare with SAN again, because you're just buying one fiber channel cable and that is being inserted between server and storage. There is no extra device within SAN. When you come to SAN technology, there is one extra device which you get between your server and storage, and that is definitely costly. So that you don't require within DAS. It is basically a simple cable from server to storage. So when you compare with SAN, the capital expense is definitely less. Okay, so these are the advantages of DAS. Okay, now coming to the challenges with DAS. Okay, please concentrate, guys. This is very very important. So every storage array. So Karthik, this is a storage array, okay, and the storage array is nothing but number of hard disks combined together into a single device is called as storage array.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So every storage array, and this is to everyone, every storage array has something called storage ports. Storage port is nothing but this. You see this? This is a storage port.
Okay.
The place where the fiber channel cable or any cable from the other end gets plugged into the storage array.
Okay. So that port is called a HDA port or some other port?
You call it as FA port, front-end adapter port, and in general we call it as a storage port.
Storage. Okay.
Storage port. Okay. So let's assume that within this storage array we have 8 storage ports. Okay. Just for our understanding, let's assume that this storage array has 8 storage ports. So how many servers can we connect now?
Up to 8 you can connect.
Up to 8 we can connect, right? Simple. One for each server, up to 8 we can connect, right? Assume that my storage array has 10 hard disks. Each hard disk is of 100 GB. Okay. So how much capacity do I have within my storage array? 1000 GB, right? 10 into 100.
Yes, of course.
Okay. And assume that for each server I have to allocate 100 GB. Each server at the most uses only 100 GB. So how many servers can I allocate space to based upon the capacity I have?
10.
10, right? Based on capacity I can allocate it to 10 servers. But due to the limitation of number of ports, how many servers can I connect?
Up to 8.
8. So even though I have low capacity within my storage array, due to the limitation of number of ports, right, I'm not able to
Yes.
use that 200 GB which is being wasted.
Yes, correct.
So that is the biggest disadvantage of DAS. Storage scalability and
Okay.
storage optimal usage. You're not able to use it properly.
Okay.
So you're
Fine.
wasting resources there. That is the
Fine, fine,
reason
fine.
why DAS is used in small scale environments. In small scale environments, where you have less servers, probably 5 to 6 servers. In that case, you have to go with DAS. DAS is not really meant for big infrastructure where you have hundreds and thousands of servers. There, it is not suggestible to use DAS.
Okay.
And DAS really has less performance. DAS is really meant for small and medium scale organizations. It is not meant for large organizations.
Okay, fine, fine.
Okay, guys, any questions on this, Bhaskar and Mohammed? Guys, I can't hear you.
No, Naveen.
No questions.
Okay, super. So this is about DAS. Okay, now let's get into another technology called NAS. Again, NAS stands for Network Attached Storage. The name itself says storage is attached to your network. But here in this case, network is your LAN or Ethernet network. So okay, do you guys know what is LAN or Ethernet network?
Yes.
Okay, Bhaskar and Mohammed. Guys, do you know what is LAN or Ethernet network?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, what about Mohammed? Okay, I mean just for Mohammad's sakes or other sake, I'll just gonna put it. So network sorry, the LAN or Ethernet network is basically an internal network. So let's assume you have 100 employees working within a company. You have to speak to each other. You have to share your data. You have to speak via chat. You want to exchange emails. All that happens via your local LAN or local Ethernet network is what we call it, right? So basically that is a LAN network. It connects all the users or employees within your company, local to your company. Or it can be across, across different offices as well. Hyderabad to Chennai to Bangalore to Delhi. It can be across, different offices via WAN also. But basically, network, when I speak of network, it is a, Ethernet based network where, everyone can speak to every other person within that network. Okay. So in this network attached storage, what you do is, this is your storage array here. This is your storage array. Okay. You connect that storage array to an Ethernet switch. This switch is called as a LAN switch or a gigabit switch or an Ethernet switch. I mean your normal LAN switch. This is that. So by your storage array, connect that storage array to a switch. Once you connect the storage array to a switch, done. Every user, every server, every device within that network can access the storage now.
Okay.
So it has its own benefits. I'll come there, but I'm just explaining the architecture now. Once you connect the storage to the Ethernet switch, every damn thing connected to that network can speak to the storage array now. Okay. So this is the power of NAS. So NAS technology is really meant for data sharing. DAS is more of dedicated to application. You create those C drive and D drive, and that is not been shared by any other server. It is all dedicated there. DAS is all dedicated storage, but NAS is shared storage. You share data across so many users. Okay. So that is the difference between DAS and NAS. So let me give you an example to help you understand what is the benefit of NAS and how people use NAS within their environment. Okay. Do you guys use this shared business folders or P drives, network drives? Yes, guys, do you? Yeah.
No.
Okay, you don't use. Okay. Bhaskar
Yes,
and Mohammed.
one question.
Yes, Mohammed. Go on.
Yes, one question. Is there any data loss in this NAS as well? is there would be any data loss when we try when
Definitely, Mohammed. Definitely, Mohammed. There could be. Because data loss is something. It is part of nature, right? We can't really avoid it. So definitely there could be data loss, but there are techniques to avoid it. Again, NAS has its own, protocols like CIFS, NFS. It has its own protocols, SMB. So they all handle that data loss, or to get away from data loss. They handle them.
so what would be an accurate percentage of data that we can get in NAS?
You can't really, reference to any of the percentages as in such, but yes, definitely the data loss is very minimum, assuming that you have good bandwidth, and so there are so many other factors, because every storage technology can give you only limited performance, right? And we really don't have we really don't have a scale to compare that this is the percentage of data loss which can happen. That's near to impossible, because data loss is something which is unexpected, right? It is not an expected form, it is an unexpected form. So the probability of predicting the percent of data loss is, very, very minimal.
Okay.
But yes, you definitely have techniques which can, overcome the data loss, expecting if it happens, and that is also automatic. That data loss covering happens automatic. Okay. So let me give you an example to help
So
you
how
guys
can
understand.
the techniques?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. What? How the data? What is the if there is any data?
Sorry.
What is the loss data will be get stored and it gets replaced in the?
No. It doesn't work like that, Tanvir. I think we're getting too deep into it. If you want to get an answer to it, yes, definitely. Once we complete this session, I'll explain you in more detail. Okay, it all jogs down to much detail. Bits and bytes. You have to understand all of those. Right now, with what time we have for the demo session, I don't think we'll be able to cover that whole thing. But yeah, right after this demo session, maybe I can shed some light on it. Okay. Tanvir, is that okay?
Yes, fine.
Okay, yep. So let me give an example of how NAS works. Okay. First of all, let's assume that there is a process. There is a process that salespeople, salespeople, they prepare some data. They prepare some data and dump that data into a spreadsheet. And let's assume that sales team has 10 members. And then there is the finance team which take the data from the spreadsheet which sales team has prepared and do their processing. Okay, and finance team also has 10 members. So this is the regular duty. Sales team, the 10 members, prepare some data and dump it in a spreadsheet. Finance team will take that as a reference and they'll start working on the spreadsheet. Based on that spreadsheet. Now, they don't have NAS. Let's assume they don't have NAS technology within their environment. So other way of, sharing data could be email, right? Email is, the general way in which we share data. So let's assume they use email for this workflow. Okay. So what they do is, sales team prepares that data and that spreadsheet. Okay. The spreadsheet, let's assume it is a 1 MB file, 1 megabyte. Now the process is that they have to share that data with the finance team. And within finance team, how many people do you have? 10 members, right? So they have to send that spreadsheet over to 10 people. So how much data is being, shared? 1 MB into 10, right? 10 people. So 10 MB. So you're basically using 10 MB of data. Point to be noted. Point 1 there. Next. Let's assume there is a process that finance team should not edit, modify or delete any data within the spreadsheet. They should not do anything within the spreadsheet. They just have to read contents from it and do their processing. They should not be able to edit, modify or delete. Okay. But since we are sharing that whole file via email, they can do anything with it. Right? They can do anything with the spreadsheet. So is there data integrity there? No. Because they can do anything with the spreadsheet. So these are two things which are lacking if you don't have NAS. Right? Now let's assume you have NAS. So now what I will do is, from this storage array, I will create a small, maybe a 10 GB volume. We call it as a volume or a share. I create a 10 GB share, and I will make sure that I give all permissions to sales team, and I will give only read-only permissions to finance team. Okay. Now what? Now again, let's go with the process. Now again, your sales team will produce the spreadsheet. Now they will copy that 1 MB file spreadsheet to that share. Now they are not sending it to 10 people. They're just putting a single copy of that on that share, on the network drive. Done. So now we are saving 9 MB data. Straight away you are saving 9 MB data there. Right? Advantage 1. Next. Since you have assigned those permissions to ensure that finance team cannot change anything, because they can only read the data, they can only read the spreadsheet, they cannot edit it, delete it, change the content, they cannot do anything with that data, with that spreadsheet. So now we are having data integrity, right? Advantage 2. So these are the main things which you can get out of NAS technology. Okay, so NAS is really for, you know, that data sharing concept, what we have discussed. That is why NAS is used for. Any questions on this?
No. Here, fiber channel connectivity is there or not?
No. Within NAS, we will not use fiber channel connectivity, because, you know, LAN, because, I mean, let's assume you have a PC. Is your PC connected via fiber channel?
No, it is not.
No, right?
Possible.
And you want to connect to a share, which is, you know, you want to share data across users. So not really possible, right?
Okay.
I mean, it's not that you can't do it. You can definitely do it, but there is no point in doing it via fiber channel. And there are many implications to it, because, you know, if you want to have fiber channel, you have to buy a separate network infrastructure for it, because fiber channel is an ad hoc basis network. I mean, whenever you need it, you buy it. But LAN is set up by default, right? I mean, whenever a company is being built, the LAN infrastructure is, you know, set up by default, right? So that is another advantage, in fact. Sorry, go ahead.
What is the speed between that? What is the speed between the NAS box to switch and then switch to that systems?
Very good question. Very good question. Definitely the speed is not high, because, you know, LAN network is what typically nowadays you see 1 Gbps, but earlier it was all 100 Mbps at the max, you know. The speed of data accessing is definitely slow, but that's okay. I mean, you know, you're not running applications on a NAS, right? You're basically sharing data.
Yes.
I mean, if a person gets data instead of 2 minutes, if it takes 4 minutes, that's okay. But if an application is taking 4 minutes versus 2 minutes, then application will go for a hit.
Okay.
You're getting it, right?
Okay, fine. Yes, of course.
So you have to choose. If you want to run an application like a database or something, then you have to go with DAS, because it's all dedicated fiber channel, high speed,
fiber channel.
right?
Yes.
But NAS is really meant for, you know, data sharing only.
Data sharing only. Okay, fine.
Right?
Yeah.
So the advantage is, you know, many servers hosts can access the data at a single time. This is the main advantage. I mean, so many nodes, so many clients can access data from a single NAS share. That is the biggest advantage. And low in cost, as I mentioned, because you're not spending extra bucks for, you know, that infrastructure. Network infrastructure is already there. You're just using it. And it supports multiple operating systems, as I mentioned. CIFS protocol is used in Windows environment. NFS protocol is used in Unix environment. So all operating systems are supported for NAS. Coming to the disadvantages, the point which I have raised, definitely it increases a lot of load on LAN. It is slow in accessing the data, but it's okay. I mean, at the stake of, you know, low cost, you're able to share data. So all those advantages. So it's okay even if it takes a little longer. I can take it, you know. So this is the disadvantage of NAS. Next, SAN. So this is where our total concentration would be. You know, the whole course will be focused over SAN. Okay. So if you look at the SAN part here, for now, let's ignore this. The left part of the storage array, just ignore it. Just don't look at it. Now, if you compare this architecture with the one we have seen in DAS, what is the difference?
Fiber channel.
The one in the middle, right? This is the difference.
Middle, that is a fiber switch is there. That is no switch is there.
This part was not there in DAS technology, right? This is there in the SAN technology. That is the main difference, architectural difference between DAS and SAN. Okay. Now
Okay.
again, let me give you an
Okay.
example. Let's assume that this device what you see here is nothing but a switch. We call it as a fiber channel
Yes.
switch or a SAN switch or FC switch. I mean, many names to it. Okay.
Okay.
So this switch, assume that this switch has 100 ports. Okay. Let's assume that this switch has 100 ports. And my storage array has 8 ports. So, I mean, all my
Okay.
eight ports from my storage array, all these 8 ports,
Okay.
like now I connected it to the switch. So out of 100 ports,
Fine.
8 I'm using. How many are left?
Okay. 92.
92, right? So please concentrate on my statement here. Please concentrate on my statement here. Assuming that
Okay.
my storage array can accommodate performance and capacity for more than 100 servers, assuming that
Okay.
this storage array can accommodate performance and capacity to more than 100 servers, how many servers
Okay.
can I now connect to my SAN?
Up to 92 you can connect.
Up to 92.
Yes.
So am I limiting myself to 8 because of this limitation, because of my storage array having only 8 ports? Am I being limited now?
No.
No.
No, because you are directly connected to switch itself. So switch
Exactly.
balance port is there, you can connect to that.
Exactly. So now all those 92 servers can speak to the storage array via the switch. This is the biggest advantage of SAN versus DAS. Scalability.
Okay.
In the same situation, if you want to connect 92 servers within a DAS environment, assuming that 8 servers you connect to each DAS, so you need how many? 12 DAS storage arrays you need. 12 DAS storage arrays you need to connect 92 servers if you are using DAS. How difficult it is to manage 12 devices, 12 separate storage devices versus a single big storage device. Single big storage array is easier, right?
Yes.
That is why I concluded last time saying that for bigger or large environments, people go with SAN and not with DAS. This is the reason.
Okay. Okay.
And yes, there is one another reason called there is something which happens within the switch. There is something which happens in the switch called as zoning. We call it as zoning. That provides secure access to data. So what does secure access mean? Okay. Let's assume you have 2 servers. One belongs to finance and other belongs to sales. So this zoning, what it will do is, it will ensure that sales server, it has its E drive, D drive, right? Those E drive and D drive is not seen by finance server. And similarly, finance server's E drive and D drive is not seen by sales server. That data integrity or security or isolation is ensured by zoning.
Okay.
So that there is this extra, security within SAN which is not there within DAS. I mean, there is security, but there is an extra level of security here within SAN. And if you look here, theoretically you can connect up to 15 million devices. So assuming that your SAN can grow up very big, you can have thousands of switches all connected into a single network. Assuming that, okay, you can have 15 million devices all connected to a single SAN network. That's definitely a theoretical limit, but that's what it is. Practically, no one will connect so many, but theoretically, you can have up to 15 million devices. Any questions on this? Okay. So benefits, as I mentioned, high bandwidth, fiber channel. Since we use, as I mentioned, orange cables are all fiber channel cables. Since we use fiber channel cables within SAN, right, they are very high speed. Because, the current fiber channel which is supported is 16 Gbps. Imagine. 16 Gbps. That's, crazy high. And it's all dedicated. So you'll definitely, each server will get 16 Gbps dedicated bandwidth. I mean, that's like crazy high, So that's the best advantage with SAN. You get high speeds. SCSI extension. Your SAN technology supports SCSI protocol. Resource consolidation. So many servers can be combined to a single big storage array. Resource consolidation because of that switch concept. Scalability. This is 15 million devices. I'm sorry. Secure access. That zoning thing. It brings secure access. So this is about SAN. Okay. Now, so we have completed the 3 storage technologies: DAS, SAN, and NAS. Anything you want to discuss, share about, those 3 technologies? Please shoot.
Can you just once again explain that dash itself, because at starting itself I'm not.
Okay. The only difference between DAS and SAN is DAS storage array, your server is directly connected to your storage. The DAS stands for direct attached storage. So your storage is directly attached to your server without anything being in between.
Okay.
That is the only difference between DAS and SAN. Nothing big.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Okay, so if you guys don't have anything else, I'm gonna jump into the data protection topic. Okay, as I mentioned, data protection is very, very key within any infrastructure, any organization, any firm, right? So there are a lot of data protection techniques. We'll discuss about probably 2 techniques here. One is RAID. RAID stands for Redundant Array of Independent Disks, and within RAID you have so many levels: RAID 0, RAID 1, RAID 3, RAID 4, RAID 5, RAID 6, RAID 10, RAID 01. So you have so many different RAID levels within RAID, and which RAID level you have to choose really depends upon what is the requirement, what is the performance requirement, what is the protection requirement, what is the application criticality. So many things drive which RAID level you have to choose, and all of that calculation I will explain you when we get into the actual course, because this is very basic to understand. You have to understand how RAID works to be able to understand the whole storage thing, because every damn storage array in this world has RAID.
Okay.
So this is by default thing within any storage array, any vendor. Okay. So here for simplicity we will discuss about RAID 1 technique. Okay, let's see how RAID 1 is giving us data protection. Okay, so this is a server, and this whole dabba you see here, this square rectangular shape, this is a storage array. So within the storage array you have something called RAID controller, which takes care of all that RAID operations. The RAID implementation is taken care by RAID controller. Okay, and you have 2 hard disks. This is your primary hard disk, this is your secondary hard disk. Now within RAID 1 what happens is, every data which is written from your server. So let's assume my server wants to write data called A, that enters into the storage array, and the data is written into both the disks within RAID 1. Within RAID 1 technique, the data which is coming from the server will be written to both the disks. Similarly, yes, B. Again, B will be written to both the disks.
Okay.
And so on. I mean, whatever data comes from the server, all the data will be written to both the disks. Okay. Now, let's assume that after 1 year or after 2 years, your primary disk got failed. I mean, disks can fail, I mean, they're all mechanical devices. They can fail. They get corrupted. They get failed. Okay. You don't really have to worry here, because the same data what is in your primary disk is still present in your secondary disk. So your application will still continue to run without any hassle.
Yes.
So this is how you are protecting your data.
Okay.
So RAID is giving you protection from disk failures.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So this is one way of data protection.
Okay.
Next, replication. So replication, yes, you have 2 types within replication. Replication nothing but creating a duplicate copy of your source copy. Let's assume you have a E drive of 50 GB. E drive of 50 GB. You create a duplicate E drive. I mean, you just create a duplicate copy of your E drive, so that if something happens to your E drive, you still can restore from your duplicate copy. That is nothing but replication. Okay. So within replication, you have local and remote. Local is, assume that your E drive is on Hyderabad storage array, and your duplicate copy is also on Hyderabad storage array. They are local to each other, right? In that case, then you call it as local replication. If your duplicate copy and your primary copy are sitting in the same storage array, then you call it as local replication.
Oh, same storage array.
Right.
Okay.
But if your primary copy is in Hyderabad storage array and secondary copy is in some Delhi storage array, and you are replicating across different sites, then you call it as remote replication.
Okay.
Because if something happens to Hyderabad data center, assume that tsunami comes. I mean, I don't want it to happen, but assuming if it happens, right, your whole data center will go down. But you don't want your data to be lost, right? Because it is all critical data. It is all so important for your business. You never want your data to be lost.
Yes, of
So
course.
in that case, since you are replicating data to Delhi, even if your data is lost in Hyderabad, you still have data in Delhi from which you can restore your operations.
Okay.
So that is, that is how replication helps you to protect your data. Okay. And
Okay.
so that's
For
about data
example, I
protection.
have one more doubt in that.
Yes.
Yeah. Because in that remote replication, one is in Hyderabad location and another one is in Delhi location. So
Correct.
both data center must be in the same IP range or what different?
I mean, IP range, they don't have to be same. I mean, since you are not creating that,
Okay.
yes, there are situations where you might want to create them same, because if you use something like a high availability clustering, like a HA cluster kind of setup,
Okay.
then you might have to use
Okay.
the same, same
Fine.
IP and subnet, all of that. But if they are different data centers, if you're just replicating data from source to target, IPs don't have to be same. They just
Mhm.
have to be able to see each other. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine. Fine.
That answers your question?
Yes.
Okay, good. So leading storage vendors, as I mentioned, EMC is the pioneer within the storage world. It has, good range of products within its Symmetrix, VMAX, DMX, VNX, Clarion, Celeron, etc. So we'll be discussing about Symmetrix, VMAX, DMX, VNX, and Clarion within our course module. We'll be discussing about all these four storage models within EMC. Okay, and then followed by NetApp. Yeah, NetApp also has a good share within the storage world. So EMC is the pioneer and followed by NetApp, and then you have all other niche storage vendors like HP, Hitachi, IBM, and some other. Thank you. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, please shoot.
Yeah, okay. Because you said before that the HP, Hitachi, and all those pieces, in your institute you are taking that also, only EMC you are concentrating.
EMC and NetApp is what I take, but this course, what we are dealing currently is, first two modules will everything be general to storage. It will be,
Okay.
nothing specific to any
Okay.
vendor. First two modules. The other
Anyway,
three modules will be,
okay, fine.
specific to Clarion, VNX, and Symmetrix.
Okay. Fine. In this course, is that everything is included in this VNX and then DMX and then Clarion?
Correct. Correct.
Oh, okay. Okay. Fine. Actually, I have one doubt. DMX have a command oriented totally?
DMX and VMAX, yes, they are like the beast. They are like
Okay.
the best thing which can happen to EMC. I mean, people are going
Okay.
crazy over DMX and VMAX. They are buying it like crazy.
Okay.
Lot
Okay.
of market
Okay.
for it.
You will teach that through command oriented or graphical oriented?
Both.
Both. Okay. You have physical connection over there in Hyderabad?
Sorry, physical connection to what?
DMX and VMAX.
Okay, let me, okay, since you have bought that question, let me be clear on that. Okay, so guys,
Okay.
yes,
Fine. Fine.
these storage arrays are what, $1 million, $2 million stuff.
Yeah, of
Okay,
course.
these storage
Yeah.
are not
Yeah.
something which we can readily buy or readily get for you. So definitely, if you are expecting a lab kind of thing, that is impossible.
Okay.
I'm very clear on this. That is
Okay.
impossible. That too at the rate of what we are charging right now, it is nowhere possible, because one day if I get it even for rent from somewhere, it would charge me what, 1.5 lakhs per day, even if I get it for rent.
Okay.
So imagine,
Okay.
getting a storage array is impossible for lab practice. But yes, I have simulators which I will share with you, which will do some lab practice on. On that, I will try to explain you practical things, how it happens. But what I can promise you is, at the end, okay, this is something
Okay.
which since you put it, is it Bhaskar or Karthik?
Okay.
Who's speaking there? Karthik?
Karthik. Karthik.
Okay,
Yeah.
Karthik, since you have asked there, I mean, for the benefit of the team, what I can do is I can have a 1 or 1.5 hour live demo session where I will walk you
Okay.
through the actual tools. I mean, live, you know,
Okay.
I can do
Okay.
that, but I will not give access to anyone. I can
Okay.
I can
Fine.
walk you guys through that, that actual live storage array, how it looks, how it happens, things, all that I can share. Maybe 1.5 hour session at the
Okay.
end, once we complete the whole session. One of my friend has a
Okay.
lab within their environment, so I can ask him, I have to pay him some bucks, but I can, get it from him. So that's possible. But
Okay.
for you guys to give access, impossible.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. What about that VNX? VNX can practice full things or what?
Yeah, VNX, we have
VNX.
simulator. So yeah, definitely. I mean, simulator has some good stuff. It is, I mean, that is not even created by me. That is from EMC. So, I mean, you can
Oh.
expect the standard.
Okay, okay. Because I want to practice that full thing in that VNX. Is it
Right.
possible in that stimulator?
Yeah, simulator. Yes. But, okay, Karthik, again, at the end of the day, simulator is a simulator. You can practice,
Yeah.
but, that is not a real box. Please keep that in mind.
Yeah. That is not a real box. I want to do all those sessions snapshot you mentioned over that snapshot,
Right.
mirror copy something.
Right.
I can practice that whole
Correct.
features in that stimulator. Is it possible?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay.
Any more question, guys? Bhaskar, Tanvir, Mohammed.
No, that's it.
Okay. Bhaskar,
Yeah. Okay.
Bhaskar, you there? I think you're speaking on mute. So, guys, okay, Bhaskar, go ahead.
Yeah, nothing from me.
Super. Okay. So, guys, I'm planning to start a session from tomorrow, 8 o'clock sharp. 8 o'clock IST. Will that time suit you? Or
Okay. For that,
sorry?
I will check it out and then I'll let inform to him Naveen. Okay?
Okay, sure. Is it Bhaskar or Karthik
Yeah.
who's speaking there?
This is Karthik.
Karthik. Okay, Karthik. Sure. So, I actually started a session which is one class old, and I'm gonna continue it from
Okay.
tomorrow. So the earlier the better.
Okay, fine.
Okay, which is
I'll
from
inform to him. Yeah, sure.
8 to 9 IST, and it will happen on weekdays from Monday to Saturday.
Weekday. Okay.
Okay.
Fine.
And
Thank you.
Bhaskar,
Fine.
Yeah, I'll just let you know, let Naveen know. Yeah.
sure, definitely. So Mohammed, yeah, you can speak to the concerned person, Mohammed, and let me know. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.